Mastering your ability to get into the flow state is one of the most powerful things you can do as a football player. Because if you really think about it, every world-class player in the world, all the way from Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo, can enter the flow state on command. So today, I'm gonna show you how to enter the flow state step by step. You see, I've played for my national team at youth levels. I've signed my first pro contract by the age of 19. And I've also helped over 50 players get to their actual potential by following the exact systems that I used to get such results in football. So watch this video to the end and you will become the best player on your team. But firstly, let's actually break down what flow state is. You see, the flow state is the ability of your brain to play in the game without thinking about what is it gonna do. Your brain is gonna think on a subconscious level and it's gonna take decision on an instinct level without you having to think about, should I pass it here, should I dribble here? No, your brain is gonna be so relaxed and so in the zone that it's gonna take all the decisions for you really quickly, because that's what happens at a professional level. You ain't got time to think, you ain't got time to plan for ideas, you just have to execute really fast. So the whole purpose of this video is to make your brain understand how to operate in the flow state at high intensity while there's pressure and while there's a lot of stake for you in the game. So let's start with the fundamental, which I think is the most essential thing that you could do to actually develop your ability to get into the flow state, and is train like you play. So many players go in their training sessions and they don't treat their training sessions like an actual game. Every dribble, shot, tackle, duel, you're doing it at a 50%. Because of this, your brain gets used to playing at 50%. All of a sudden, when you go in a real game, now you have to play at 100%. The opponents are not gonna give you time, they're not gonna give you space, and they're not gonna give you a second to breathe. So this is why I see so many players struggling in games, but balling it out in trainings. Because your training session has no intensity, no purpose, and no internal pressure from yourself. But with the method that I'm gonna show you, everything is gonna change. You see, every time you step on the pitch, you have a training session with the team, individual training session with a private coach. This is what I want you to do from today on. Most players, you know, they get on the pitch, they start training. Let's say they do some dribbling, right? They will just boom, boom, boom. Maybe, you know, take some shots. They will take them like this. They will run like this. The whole training session, that's what they will do, right? And you know, they do this for a reason, right? They do this because they have no pressure. They have no external pressure. No one is pressing them. No one is demanding them to play at a high intensity. No one sees you, because right now I'm by myself. If I'm gonna train at 20%, no one's gonna see, right? I can get away with it. But here's the thing. In football, you're never gonna get away with anything. Every time you do 20% when you could have done 90%, 100%, football sees it. Listen, you might not see it, but football sees it. You wanna imagine that it's a person watching you 24/7. If you're doing everything right, if you're doing everything at 100%, football is gonna reward you. If you're trying to find shortcuts, if you're trying to cheat, football is gonna see it. So this is the common problem, right? So let's say I do dribbling, right? Like, let's say I do step overs right here. So, you know, I drive and I do a step over and I go. Because there's no opposition, because there's no one around me, I can't rely on someone externally to press me, to give me 100%. So what I do to get the most out of my training sessions is I combine my physical work, technical work with a visualization session. And that's where it gets the most interesting, because you see, let's say I have the ball right here and I wanna dribble, I wanna work on my step overs. Now I start to visualize, okay, I see the defender in front of me. Even though he doesn't exist, I see him. Who is he? Is he Van Dijk? Is he Sergio Ramos? Yeah, let's pick the best center backs in the world. And now, all of a sudden, I drive, but Sergio Ramos is in front of me. How am I gonna beat him? Am I gonna beat him if I go at 20%? I don't think so. So now I have to actually wake up, boom, boom, go. And the funniest thing is that even then, maybe I can't drive past him. You see, in my head, because I'm visualizing so hard and so realistic, I understand that not every time I'm gonna get past the defender. So in my head, every rep that's not done at 100% and every rep that's not perfect technically wise is a failure. I've decided that Sergio Ramos has tackled me. He has taken the ball away from me. Now I have to go again. Now I have to do it better. So next time I'm gonna focus more. Next time I'm gonna be more sharp. Boom, boom, boom. Maybe I did get past him, maybe not. But this is gonna push my internal limit. And this is gonna give me internal pressure. But it doesn't stop here, because what I'm gonna do now is close my eyes. Imagine that I have a pitch of 80,000 people watching every single touch I do, even though there's no one here, no one's watching me play. In my head, I'm looking around the stadium and I can see the faces of people in the crowd. I can see the lights, I can see the world-class managers on the side, the players on the bench, I can see all the players around me. And now I've created this professional environment in my head, and it's almost like I'm playing in a game, even though I'm just in a training session. But guess what that's gonna do? Now I'm getting used to play against 80,000 people. If you want to take it to the next level, what you can actually do is get a speaker and actually look on YouTube for crowd noises in football games. And you play it literally on the side of the pitch and you're gonna hear the crowd cheering you on every touch you do. That's taken to the extreme. Start with this and then progress to that. But now all of a sudden, it's not just Sergio Ramos in front of me. Now all of a sudden 80,000 people are putting pressure in my head. But while I'm gonna do this, while I'm gonna train at 100%, if I want to get into the flow state, I will relax as well. Like, I want to understand that realistically there's no one around me. So there's this contrast of trying to visualize that there's a lot of people around me, but at the same time understanding with my own eyes that there's no one here. So now I'm kind of in this state between relax and feeling pressure that I've created myself. I combine it and I play at high intensity. I play at 100% focus, but I'm still relaxed. You know, I'm getting into the flow state. I'm dribbling, I'm doing some ball work. And listen, this is just a warm-up for me, of course. You can progress to so many exercises, any drill that you want to do on the pitch, you can apply the same methods to, right? It doesn't have to be ball mastery, it doesn't have to be some quick feet, dribbling and stuff like this. This is for me just a warm-up. But even in the warm-up, I'm gonna apply it. You see, because that's one of the methods that I actually teach inside the whole protocol. There's a whole protocol about getting into the flow state with so many methods, and this is one of them. If you wanna find out all the rest of them, click the link below and get started today. But back to the video. Like I said, guys, that's the best part about this method of training. You can apply it to anything. It doesn't have to be this. You could be cutting inside, taking shots. You could be even taking free kicks, penalty kicks at the same intensity. And the best teams in the world have used it so many times in training. You see, before a decisive penalty shootout, a lot of professional teams, what they do is actually they put the speakers to crowd noises and they get the players to actually go to the penalty spot, take the shot. They create this pressure on the players so they get used to this feeling of pressure. But how does this have to relate with flow state? It actually has a lot to do with the flow state, because flow state is a state that your brain needs to get into. But when you're in a new environment and you're not used to deal with pressure, your brain is really gonna struggle to get into the flow state. So the more you get used to playing a high intensity, high pressure, the more your brain is actually gonna relax, because it's something that you've done 100 times before, 200 times before. The more you're gonna get into the flow state. So it's an easy process, but it works every single time. You see, because the first method is actually very close to the second method, right? The second method is called somatic reprogramming, and it's very interesting because I've used it with over 50 players in the last 6 months and I haven't had one player to not see results from it. Somatic reprogramming is basically a way of training, a way of conditioning yourself in your training sessions, just like in the first method, but now the word somatic means that it's connected to the body, right? So in the second method, what you want to do is you firstly want to just close your eyes just like this. Close my eyes. Now I imagine that I do a terrible movement on the pitch. If let's say I missed a penalty kick in the World Cup final and now we have to play it 1-1. We could have won the game, but we didn't. Now we're going to extra time. I actually try to visualize it as much as possible. And I genuinely see everything around me on the pitch. I do advanced visualization. I don't just visualize like 90% of players visualize. Again, if you want to know how to do advanced visualization, then check the link below and get started today, because I break down everything inside the whole protocol. When I do the advanced visualization, I'm gonna close my eyes, I'm gonna see that terrible thing that I've done. Let's say it's something that would definitely make me feel pressure, would make me feel bad, maybe just a little bit of anxiety just as well. And when I feel this inside of me, because trust me, your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination if you can actually visualize intensely, and you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel it in your whole body, you're gonna get that butterflies in your stomach, you're gonna feel that pressure. When you feel that, all of a sudden you wanna wake up to reality, you wanna look around you and realize that that was not reality. So you calm down. What you do to calm down is you do a breathing method just like this. You're gonna inhale for 3 to 4 seconds just like this. You're gonna hold your breath for another 4 seconds. And you're gonna exhale for 6 seconds. You do this 3 times. your brain starts to get into the parasympathetic system, it starts to relax, all of a sudden you're good to go. But here's the key thing that I want you to do if you actually want to use this in real games. While you do the breathing 3 times, you actually want to do a physical cue that's going to make your brain connect that physical cue with the state of getting relaxed from anxiety. So let's say for you, it's going to be tapping your chest a couple times. You've imagined the bad thing, you've closed your eyes, you imagine the bad thing, you have this anxiety, all of a sudden you start doing the breathing method and you do this. You're associating this move that you're doing, so hitting your chest slightly like this, with getting relaxed, with getting your brain to understand that this is not reality. And guess what's going to happen if you're going to do it consistently for the next 4 weeks? In 4 weeks, when you're going to be on the pitch, you're going to do a mistake, you're going to do something that you're ashamed of, you're going to start to do the breathing method, or you're going to start to literally just do this movement right here that you've associated your relaxation with, and all of a sudden your brain subconsciously is going to start to relax and is going to start to be like, no worries, that was just a mistake. It works so well because you're programming your brain to relax by literally doing something physical. And in the middle of the game, you can forget about certain mental techniques, but you're not going to forget about just doing this. This straight away is going to calm you down. That's one of the most powerful things you can do. So how does this relate to flow state? You see, flow state is a state you're in, but in order for you to be in that flow state, there's certain neurons that fire in your brain, right? So neural connections, and flow state and anxiety, they both fire the same neurons. So that means that you can't have anxiety and be in the flow state both at the same time, right? So if you do a mistake and you start having anxiety, then you're actually getting away from the flow state. By doing this, you're gonna learn to keep the flow state active throughout like 90 minutes of the game, instead of just having it for 10 minutes, doing a mistake, and just stopping with the momentum. And that's a crucial thing for playing professional games, because you're not gonna play for 10 minutes, you're not gonna play for 15 minutes. You wanna play for 90, and you wanna be in the flow state for 90 minutes of the game. Moving on to the third method, it's a ritual that you need to develop for yourself before the game starts. And like I said before, flow state is not just a state that you wake up in. Flow state is a process that you have to work towards 90 minutes, 120 minutes before the game even starts. So let's say 2 hours before the game starts, what you want to do is you want to start programming yourself to be able to get into the flow state when the game is actually going to start, right? So 120 minutes before the game starts, this is where you start relaxing. This is where you start to prepare for getting into the flow state. But here's the thing, for each player, it's a different thing, right? There's many things that you could do to relax as a player, but for each one, it's a different thing. For some players, it's listening to their favorite playlist. For some players, is talking with their friends, with their teammates right before the game starts, having banter. For some players, is literally visualizing them playing in games, because that helps them calm themselves, imagine themselves on the pitch, and almost like they're gonna be ready for when the game starts. For some players, it's watching TV series, movies, YouTube videos. And I'll tell you a funny story. One of the best games that I've ever played in the last 2 years was last year. In that game, I was in the flow state for 90 minutes of the game, but in such a flow state that there's no one that could stop me on the pitch. And what I've done before the game, my ritual before the game, was I was watching a YouTube video on the bus going to the game. When we got there, all of a sudden I was relaxed. I didn't think about nothing. We were walking on the pitch, but for me, watching that YouTube video really calmed me down, not focused on the game, not having that pressure, anxiety, whatever. And then when I ended up getting into the game, all of a sudden I was in the flow state for 90 minutes. I played really well, had like a goal, 2 or 3 assists, and I was just enjoying the game, nutmegs, getting past players, having a lot of key passes in that game. So that's to say that relaxing before the game is a different process for everyone, right? So you need to experiment and find the one that works for you. That might take you 1 week, that might take you 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but as soon as you find it, you find the right thing that genuinely helps you relax and be almost like not bothered about what's going to happen in the game, not thinking about the game. You need to make it a ritual that you're going to do before every single game. You see it in the best players in the world. You see it in every world-class player. They have a ritual, right? And they stuck to this ritual after years of doing it. They don't stop after doing it for 2 weeks. They don't stop after doing it for 3, 4 weeks. Some players do prayers. Some players do music, bunch banter with their teammates, playing two-touch with their teammates in the locker room. There's so many things, but once you find the right one, you want to stick with it, because if you're going to do different things every single week, then you're going to get random results. One week you will be in the flow state, one week you won't be in the flow state, and you don't want this to happen to you, right? You want to have consistency when it comes to your physical, technical, but mental side of the game just as much, right? So consistency is key here. You want to firstly experiment, and this is where you might not be consistent for a couple weeks, but it's a sacrifice that's definitely worth doing, because once you hit that one that works really well, you're going to become unstoppable. And the rest of the players are going to be like, why are you watching a YouTube video? How is that going to help you? But it did help you. But here's the thing, guys, there's many other methods that you can do to get into the flow state, to have confidence, and to have emotional control on the pitch. Because the mental side of the game is such a weird thing that's so important for any athlete, but for football players especially. But it's not taught at even academy level. Sometimes it's not taught at grassroots level, Sunday league. When you're young, when you're 14, 15, 12, 13, 16, 17, you're just not taught how to get into the flow state, how to have confidence, and how to be relaxed in the game, even though it's so important. This is why so many players have such an ability to play. I've seen players in Sunday League that were at a professional level when it comes to physically, when it comes technically, but mentally they just weren't there, because their whole life they didn't know how to develop their mental side of the game. So after working with so many players and seeing that so many players struggle with the same things, and those things can be fixed quick if you know the right things, I've decided to open up the Vault Protocol. It's a program with over 60 lessons inside that has a big focus on the mental side of the game. A whole mental protocol that's gonna teach you how to get into the flow state, how to have confidence, how to have emotional control, discipline, and be the guy that you know you're supposed to be in football. But alongside this, I've also decided to make this program a complete program. It's not just mentally. This program is gonna teach you how to train physically, technically, tactically, how to recover and optimize your sleep, nutrition, biological hacks to recover, and supplements, and also teach you how to get pro opportunities by creating a professional CV, understanding how to reach out to professional clubs, and understanding what exactly you need to do in your player IDs, in your trial games, to actually get signed and be the standout player on the pitch. Besides this, you also get a community of over 60 players and bonuses like free consultation call with me when you join, so we can identify your weak points, your strong points, and creating a plan for you to develop as a player, potential pro trials in England from our partner Marvin Hamilton, an ability to post your game clips in the community, and getting a professional breakdown of your game by myself, and weekly new gems, so you can always stay at the top of your game. So if you want to join and make 2026 the year that you finally make it to the pro stage, I've actually put the link into the description, so click the link below and get started today. But listen guys, make sure to subscribe to my channel, because all I do on this account is talk about football and how you can stay at the top of your game. And I'll see you next time.